Okay, we're hitting the halfway point of our debate, so let's shake things up with a little lightning round here. We'll go down the line, starting with Mr. Edwards. The Trump administration has proposed creating a Space Force. If you're in Congress, would you vote to authorize it?
Well, I think we really have to have a little bit more information on that. And I've spoken to some of the folks in the Air Force. I think this is a role that the Air Force can also fulfill.
Okay, Mr. Callis.
Well, I'm a big believer in technology, and when we focus on something like landing on the moon, we have these technologies that are born from that. So anytime we take on a challenge, and the Space Force would be a challenge.
Mr. Callis, this is a rapid fire answer,
okay.
So about 10 to 15 seconds. Mr. Martin.
Well, I have quite a bit of experience with the military, and sometimes the military gets into a set way of thinking. Maybe creating a coordinate branch, a new service to deal with space, might help us shake them up a little bit. I'm not strongly for it, and I'm not strongly against it.
Mr. De Niro.
I would be if I knew more details about it. Is it for the satellites? Is it up? There's seemingly no details on the subject.
Senator Sanborn.
While I support the president in almost all things, I'd rather see the money be spent to build a wall and reduce the deficit.
Okay, next question, and we'll start down there with Senator Sanborn. Do you think the federal government should legalize recreational marijuana?
You know, look, this is a conversation we have a lot. Most people that want to legalize it, Adam, as you know, want to regulate it and tax it. Now, I'm a liberty conservative, and I don't think our government needs more taxes or more regulation on things. So if it was a clean bill, I'd actually support it. But if they're going to try to use it for taxes and regulation, I wouldn't support that.
Mr. De Niro.
I would, except for the fact I would much rather see and use it as a bartering chip to stop the opioid epidemic. I feel if we can't stop the opioid epidemic, then we should not have recreational pot at this particular time.
Mr. Martin.
I'm deeply troubled by the steamroller that is going towards the legalization of a number of recreational drugs. I favor the legalization of marijuana for medicinal purposes, but I'm extremely skeptical at this time of making it a recreational substance.
Mr. Callis.
Yes. I would definitely tax it because when you tax it, you discourage the use. But I would also use those taxes to pay off student debt, because there is $1.5 trillion time bomb waiting, and the students are our future.
Mr. Edwards.
Sure. I believe in the 10th Amendment. This is a states' rights issue. I think the federal government should be out of this. Marijuana should be a Schedule 4 or 5 drug. And if the state of New Hampshire wants to legalize marijuana for recreational purposes, then the state of New Hampshire should be prepared to pay for the cost of that.
Okay, bit of a lighter question here. Quick answer, though. Mr. Edwards, how has running for Congress changed your life?
Oh, listen, it's opened my eyes to just how corrupt our process is.
Okay, Mr. Callis.
Okay, I've been walking across the 1st District. I started in Crawford Notch, walked to Portsmouth, then to Seabrook, to Manchester around Lake Winnipesaukee, and I've been having a wonderful time talking to the citizens. I've been running a general campaign talking to everybody, and I can't appreciate it enough.
Thank you, Mr. Callis. Mr. Martin?
I don't think it's changed my life. It's just a lot of hard work running for Congress, and so I'm a hard worker, and I'm sure I'd be working on something else if I wasn't working on this. It's probably changed my life in that I've helped to bring to light thousands of pages of documents about Senator Sanborn and Mr. Edwards that otherwise would not have come. That's been a somewhat life-changing experience because it has shown just what one man can do to change the environment.
Mr. De Niro.
Sure. You know, if I didn't have to work and I was able to do town hall meetings every day, maybe I could say it has changed my life. But it is enjoyable. Everybody here is very nice. It's been a very positive experience.
Senator Sanborn.
Yeah, it's been an amazing experience. My ability, even though I'm a 4th-generation native and I've traveled to every single community in the state so many times, reconnecting with old friends and new friends and visiting businesses and seeing how they grow. And I think the biggest thing that surprised me is how many businesses in New Hampshire are really involved with international travel and are very dependent upon how the federal government works versus the state. So for me, it's really allowed me to open my eyes even further, and it's really been a great experience so far.
All right, last lightning round question. Let's get a yes or no answer on this one. Do you think the Supreme Court Citizens United decision that paved the way for unlimited campaign spending was a mistake? Yes or no, Senator Sanborn?
No.
Mr. De Niro?
No.
Mr. Martin?
No.
Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
No.
Okay, we're moving.